champ is here.
We will definitely not shut up and dribble.
The champ is here. I must be the greatest. The champ is here.
I'm going to continue to stand with the people.
The champ is here.
I will not lose.
I'm a bad man. I shook up the world.
Yes, welcome. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with we. My name is EJ, and I got my man.
MH.
Yes, he is the DB of the show. And we are Black in Sports, giving a voice to the culture that won't shut up and dribble. And you know, man, it's about that time. Once a month, man, we bring the dance to the top and the brightest, and just the people that support us year round. We give them a voice, man, to let them hop on and kind of set us straight sometimes. But MH, man, you ready to do this, man? I'm going to go open up the dance, man. You call them as you see them. You ready?
Yes, sir, man. This is going to be exciting today. We've been talking about this for a while.
We've been talking. We actually had to postpone it, man. So we're going to probably have some live actors. So if you're live in the chat, man, I see the chat room kind of filling up. So don't be afraid to post that comment in the chat room. Challenge us on the dance. Maybe we'll get you on here one day. But man, let's start opening it up. MH, you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. Call them when you see them.
Protect the Shield, Blake Starr, CEO. Brian Simon, Channel 3. B, how about them Knicks, B?
There we go.
It's good to see y'all, family. How everybody doing?
G's down there invisible. There you go.
Doing solid, man.
What's up, brothers? What's up?
It's good to see y'all, man.
What's going on? Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Got you.
Yeah. Cool.
See us all healthy. Good.
Kind of falling back to the show, man. You want to turn your camera to the left or the right?
man, nah. You remember what happened last time, man? I can't do it on my computer. Then I turned it sideways and messed up, man. So I got the mini screen where everybody else got the full screen.
No, man.
We still gonna make it happen.
Absolutely. All right, man. Well, welcome, man. Just far overdue. You know, this is going to be kind of an impact show. So we got a couple of topics that we want to kind of jump off and start with, but just kind of kicking it off, man. How does everybody feel about their football teams, man? I mean, I see some Cowboy people on here. I see some Cleveland Brown people on here. So I see the Shield representing up here, Protect the Shield podcast. Got to show love to that, man. If y'all ain't got something later today, make sure you check my cousin's podcast out too. But yeah, how are you feeling about your teams, right? We got some significant holdouts, right? So anybody want to jump in and talk about the success of their team right now? NFL, by the way.
I reserve like
Jets.
As a New York sports fan, I reserve my excitement until
that's smart.
Because on paper, the Jets should be like lights out. Like you got a Hall of Fame quarterback, you got top 2 defense in the league. But Aaron Rodgers just makes me nervous. I just feel like he has a bad aura or something. And
bad juju?
Yeah, so I just want to see. I want him to stay healthy. I want him to perform well. But I'm anxious about the season. I'm ready to see what they can do. I just need him to kind of figure out a way to get out his own way with his own personal antics. But other than that, I'm excited about the team.
I'll
speak up.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. No, I was going to say, I know for me, I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, man. So for us, I mean, it's all going to depend on, man, how our line perform. I mean, if they can do a great job of protecting Russell, then we got a chance, man. And if not, then shoot, it's going to be a long season for us.
Well, after Pittsburgh, I mean, those watching know that I'm a Steelers fan as well.
EJ.
Yeah, man. Come on, man. Hey, let's go. Maybe we're going to have a little side chat line, man, because it's going to be a lot of consoling we may need. I don't know if we can continue to hang on he's never had an undefeated season. You know what I mean? A losing season. Like, we can't hang on that shit no more, man. Like, it's time.
We almost getting as worse as the Cowboy fans doing stuff like that, man.
Speaking of Cowboy fans, I appreciate that great segment, man. So to get off of us, let's talk about them Cowboys. Now, how about them Cowboys? Man, we're gonna get CD Lamb locked up? You know, Dak gonna get taken care of, man, or what's going on, man? Does the struggle continue?
Man, come on now. We ain't gonna have no Cowboys slander on here all like that. And just like most Cowboys fans, I'm delusional. We gotta hold out CD Lamb. We got old Zeke Elliott back, but we still going to the playoffs, winning NFC East like always. I feel good. I don't care who.
Like always, okay.
I can be out there running back, and we're gonna do something. We got a stellar defense out there again.
Y'all going to the playoffs?
People's help me.
Y'all going to the playoffs?
We're gonna win. Wait a minute, NFC East champions, and I'm just saying we always find a way to get it done.
What's my coach's name? Playoffs.
Do y'all always find a way to get it done? Or find a way to screw it up?
Me?
Yeah.
Playoffs, okay.
How it is, man. I mean, we ain't played no games yet, so yeah. I mean, I'm gonna have delusions, sugar plum dreams. Every one of y'all got it, man. Every one of y'all got it.
And Blake's defense, his first statement was, "We are delusional." That was his first statement.
I ain't that crazy, man.
But what I've learned is there's two types of Dallas Cowboys fans. There's the ones that's delusional and they know it, and there's the ones that's delusional and they don't know it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. Hey, man, would you like to chime in on any of that?
Everybody loves Cowboys, whether you love to hate them or whether you love them, man. Everybody. One of my favorite things is to see all the memes once we lose. My favorite one from last year was the one with Dak throwing the ball with his helmet backwards. So I'm here for it. I love it. I love to hate too. I love it. I'm fan always. So I like it.
Nothing else from that match. Makes stay quiet on the days.
Yeah,
I think they're gonna be all right.
Like a dope shirt on. You know what I mean? He don't have good judgment in teams, but he definitely got good judgment in music, man. We appreciate the shirt, man. So it's all good. It's all love. Hey,
who's your team, B? What you got, man? Yeah,
I was gonna say I'll speak up for the Raiders, man. The fact that we got a head coach. Finally, they got a brother in there, AP. I think he's gonna galvanize the team. I think the team will play better than they obviously played when they had McDaniels. But you know the old adage, man. If you got two quarterbacks, you got none. Gardner Minshew, I guess, is going to lead the Raiders to the promised land, the playoffs. I don't know, man. We'll see what happens, man. But hopefully they got a good defense. The defense plays well. The offense plays just well enough to win some games. We'll see what happens with the silver and black.
Man, I worry about them, man. I ain't gonna front, man. When you ain't got no Q, if you look at the playoffs from last year, by the time you got to the second round, you got top 10, top 15 Qs in the league, and you going with a rookie. I mean, not a rookie, a backup Q.
I mean, he's a starter now. I mean, you know, he actually started. I'm going to go ahead and throw out stats that don't mean nothing, but you know, he actually started for the Colts last year. Had a winning record. He led the Colts to the playoffs. You know what I mean? So he came in.
In what division, though? I mean,
they came just short of the playoffs. They was one drop pass from making the playoffs.
Oh, no, the Colts. You sure?
Yeah, the Colts made the playoffs last year.
They was one drop pass away, though.
Wasn't the first 4 games like Richardson, and then he got hurt, and then they brought in Gardner? Is that right?
Yeah, they brought in Gardner Minshew. Yeah.
Gardner played well. I know the Pro Bowl don't matter anymore, but he was selected. But you know, I know Pro Bowl's a joke nowadays. But I mean, to say though, I think, you know, just kind of, you know, what Brian was saying, you know, the way that AP was able to you know, just get that locker room going. He got the alumni fired up, he got the fans fired up. I mean, to be honest, that team's going to run through walls for him. I mean, we were the last team to beat the Chiefs. You know, this year we'll probably have a top 10 defense. We brought in Christian Wilkins. Max Crosby is going to probably be a defensive player of the year candidate. You know, and all we need is for Gardner not to just screw up. You know what I'm saying? Manage the game. We'll be all right.
I need the clues bombs to drop on everything that Chris fit, right? He's just letting y'all know.
And our coach will beat up all y'all's coaches.
That's about all they got. Maybe Tomlin the only one that might get with him a little bit, but yeah, that's right.
Thank you. I want to give him some clout. That's all I want. Man, I don't think they're gonna get far this year. but I don't want them to pull the trigger too soon. The NFL is known for, especially with black coaches, man, they have the season, they get them out of there. I don't like that they gave them a squad with no Q, struggling at other offensive positions. Man, come on, man. Just give him some time. Don't
I do think though, like the Raiders, like traditionally they do well with quarterbacks that may not have be on their first stop. Rich Gannon, Jim Plunkett, you know what I mean? So I don't know if Gardner Minshew is going to win the MVP like Rich Gannon, but I will say that traditionally the organization kind of does well with those type of quarterbacks. And they got good guys. I mean, Max, like you said, Max Crosby is a top 5 defender in the league. Christian Wilkinson is a top 5 in his position. Devontae Adams is top 5 in his position. And we'll see what the young tight end is going to do. So
I was waiting for you to say the tight end.
I mean, they got guys. They got guys. So it's just we'll see
what guys. I mean, I don't. Again, I'm coming out there in November. I don't need protective shield. Them out there at the airport waiting on me. But who they got? What guys?
Hold on. Who just
named like 5
direct
Did you just log on? Did you just log on?
Fantasy draft. And I just did a fantasy draft yesterday. 2 people got drafted, and the Raiders defense. I don't think they got drafted at all. Again, I'm just talking about fantasy.
That's y'all's fault.
But right. I guess you're right. But I'm sitting there looking at next year. Y'all play this year, right? Y'all can get like a good quarterback, like first, second pick or something.
He said this is a rebuilding year.
Rebuilding.
Scrap all that.
All the way rebuild. And it's okay. Again, it's okay because they can't be the jokes all the time.
My biggest concern with the Raiders is simply like it is with the changes that they're having. It's just bad timing because they're in the AFC, right?
Yeah.
AFC
West. But I know they're on the West. But not having a quarterback in the AFC right now.
Tough.
It's just really tough. Like, I don't care how good your defense, like you have to have a really, really, really good quarterback to win games, especially if you're going up against other really quality defenses. Like,
someone chimes in, let's talk Chargers with a really great quarterback and a great coach. So that division just getting crazy. But hey, stop saying we don't have a quarterback because like what Terrell said, man, that's my quarterback, man. So Minshew is our quarterback and we riding out with him, man. And so G, you've been a little quiet, man. We're gonna talk a little Green Bay, man.
Oh man, we good. Listen, like I took a hit during the preseason a little bit, but I think we fine over here. I think we running on all cylinders. We a little young team. Still the youngest team in the league. So
y'all took my running back. I ain't happy about that.
I know that's right.
It's not my fault.
No, yeah.
Take a man.
Hey, y'all got to worry about them Lions, though, man. I thought the Lions run that division.
Yeah, that was a year.
You said lucky year.
You don't think they're gonna have another good year?
By the end of the year, we already caught the Lions. We was ready for them. We was like, oh, we got past San Francisco. We was like, oh, we ready for that game.
Okay.
Okay. Because we got them in that Thanksgiving game at home in their own place. So,
is there any bets like to be placed? Anybody?
We ready?
Were you ready? Shit.
We ready. Look, listen, the Raiders. We have Raiders have Gardner on there. I think he's the modern day Ryan Fitzpatrick. But hey, it is what it is. Like.
That's not a bad.
I think they're gonna be good. I think that's
very
one of the
good
teams in the league. I think the Raiders can be. It's one of those things that it's gonna hit or it's gonna be terrible. It's not going to be in between.
There you
You
go.
know what, man? They're gonna end up being 8-8. Oh no, 9-8 now. What? They got 17 games now.
Yeah, 9-8.
Yeah.
Oh, we go 9-8, huh? Not 8-9, huh?
But look,
hey, that makes a big difference.
No, we was 8-9. We was 8-9 last year with probably the worst situation in all of football. Started off with Josh McDaniels. You know what he does to teams. We had all kinds of turmoil. You know what I'm saying? We had to go from Jimmy G, he was a disaster, to a rookie Aiden O'Connell. It was bad, man. Through all that, had a rookie head coach come in, a rookie play caller, offensive coordinator, and still ended up 8-9 and had a chance to get to the playoffs at that point. Hey, we'll be all right, man. We'll be all right. Relax.
And let them know again who's the last team to beat the Super Bowl champs.
Exactly. Exactly.
There you have it.
Hey, we had Taylor Swift up there crying, bro.
Somebody told her to shake it off, man. She wasn't feeling it.
Let's keep it going. Hey, first and foremost, no Taylor shots here because she does have a massive army. So we don't want no smoke. We don't want no smoke with the Swifties. No smoke with the Swifties here on Black and Sports. All right, so kind of a quote that kind of came out. Like I said, we're just gonna jump around, have fun with it, man. But want to hear two things. So we talked about one Harbaugh. So we had someone that said let's talk about the Chargers. So Coach Harbaugh offered Kaepernick a job. What do we think about that? And it's not the job that Cap wants because Cap still believes he can play. I don't know if he's done a video of him throwing lately. But what do you guys think of Coach offering Kaepernick a job to coach?
That's dope. I think it's dope.
Right.
The fact that he brought his name up and said he's trying to hire him, regardless of regardless of what he's trying to hire him for, he's trying to hire Kaepernick. Obviously, we all know that he was the man that I won't say he made Kaepernick, but I mean he's the one that made the decision to put him in there and take out Alex Smith, who was tearing it up at the time for the most part. So, yeah, man, I think that's fantastic. I wish Cap would take the job, man. Get in there and and spread whatever knowledge that you have. I mean, I don't know how he's got to be about 37, 8 now, right? So even though his body is probably still good, he hasn't taken any hits. Like, come on, dog. Like we don't need you necessarily playing quarterback. Even though the league is showing that they'll bring dudes off the couch that haven't played in 500 million years and that are old as dirt and play backup quarterback. But still,
but see, and here's the thing to what you said is if he was really smart, he would take the job because at the end of the day, that's where you have the most influences on the coaching staff. Yep. So now instead of taking a knee and just doing, influencing your team or what have you not, now he got influence on the entire NFL. Like he thought he had as a player.
He thought he had, huh? I would definitely say that he definitely did have. In my opinion, I think he had. Yeah, not even just the NFL. I'm talking about the whole sports landscape in the country.
Right.
Also, I'm kind of torn. I agree with you, B, that he should take the job. As an artist, and former athlete, these are probably the two most prideful professions in the world. So it's hard to just accept the fact like it's done and it's time to pivot. But on top of that, it's not about if it was him, if he had lost his job off of anything other than his activism, I can see it. But I also applaud him for not wanting to give that up because him getting a job back as a quarterback is a blow to the system that he's fighting, right? So he's still physically, clearly he can still play. Like you said, it's been years since he's played, so his body's had time to rest. He hasn't been going through the yearly grind, right? So he should be able to offer something on the field. But I think the desire to come back as quarterback is bigger than just wanting to play in the NFL. I think it speaks to the fight he was trying to have. It's like, we should be able to do this job, but also be able to speak our minds about, what's going on in the world and shouldn't be penalized for that. So I'm kind of like torn in between that. Yes, I agree. Like, just take the job. You could have tremendous influence as a coach, but him coming back as a quarterback is more than just, hey, my whole life I worked to play, to be quarterback in the NFL. Him coming back is going to have a greater impact on the fight that in the movement that he created. So it's
I agree.
50-50.
And I agree. I hear what you're saying on that. But at some point in time, me playing professional myself at the semi-pro level, at some point in time, we got to realize that at that point in time, like our time is up in that particular era, and it's time to move on. And maybe like I said, I'm not saying I'm necessarily right by thinking that, but in my mind, it's like at some point in time, we have to move on and just be like, okay, well, what's next for me? Yes, you're right. He doesn't have the miles on his body that the that the average professional has and stuff like that. But it's like, how much more time are you going to give it? You know, if you're 37, 38, we also know that football is a whole lot more physical and things like that. But it's like, okay, when do I start working on my next era of influence? Or I can continue that movement, but it might not look the same.
I'm sorry. I just don't. I feel you. I don't believe anything Kaepernick is doing. Nothing. Wow. None of it. Wow. To me, Kaepernick's one of those people that, you know, when everything fails and then all of a sudden you find God.
Wait a minute. God. Everything fails? He said he like a brother coming out of prison.
God damn. Damn. Where you go?
Ain't said nothing about Jesus this whole last 37 years. All of a sudden, I found the Lord.
Like all of a sudden, it's like when the bottom fell out in his career, he found activism.
Yeah.
And to me, I was like, nobody's.
That's not true, though. That's not true.
Nobody.
That's not true. That's not true.
That ain't true, though.
Yes, it is. He found activism when the bottom
No. The year after he fell out, Gene.
He was the bomb. I need the clue bomb, man.
The year after he went to the Super Bowl, the year after is when he took the knee.
No. He took the knee when he got benched.
No, he didn't.
Let's get this right. Let's tell the
No,
story.
No, he didn't.
When they said he was no longer a starter, all of a sudden it happened in the preseason. When they said he was no longer a starter, then he found activism. Then he was like, "No, this is the reason I took the knee because I got benched."
Find activism. Activism found him. He
didn't
didn't
land on Plymouth Rock.
He found something when the bottom fell out.
But the bottom didn't fall out. He wasn't.
It did fall out. He got benched for what's that bum name? Who's the bum quarterback for the
man. We got to do some fact checking. Got to do some fact checking.
Go. They said he was going to get benched.
This is where I met my nephew. Little EP be on the fact checking right now, man.
He's talking about he got benched for Brock, are you? Brock Purdy?
No, wasn't Purdy. It was who's the bum quarterback that was a first round pick as well.
I know you're talking about. He played for the Jaguars.
It wasn't. We can go back.
The fact that no one can think about it.
Blaine Gabbert. Yeah, Blaine Gabbert.
Okay.
Yeah,
all of a sudden, as soon as he got benched for him in that preseason, they was like, "We're gonna go with Gabbert." Then they thought he was throwing a fit. They thought he was throwing a fit on the sideline. They thought he was throwing a fit on the sideline. Yeah. And then that's when he got into activism.
What do you consider rock bottom is my question. Because
to me, getting benched for Blaine Gabbert. That's rock bottom.
That's the only true thing you said. Right. That's the only correct thing you said.
Getting benched for Blaine Gabbert. To me, it's all for show. Because it's plenty of times people try to throw him a leash.
For sure.
And he didn't take it at all. To me, it's all for show. You got to prove you got to finally prove it's not.
Wait, what leash? Who offered him what?
No, the Ravens offered something. Then he went crazy on the owner. His girlfriend went crazy on the owner in public. They were offering him stuff. And
what? Offering him what? You saying stuff?
No, the Ravens was trying to get him. Harbaugh was trying to get him in. And then his girlfriend goes on social media and calls the owner a slave owner. and it was like, no, that's a wrap.
Ain't nobody offered Cap shit. This
man,
is
because they did. He don't want it. Cap don't want it, dog. Cap don't want that.
Cap don't want it, huh?
It's more money. Everybody knows it's more money in being a martyr than anything else. That's the highest paying job in the world. Being a martyr.
I never heard this approach before, but I am not.
Hey, Blake, real talk. In all the Kaepernick stories I done heard, that's the first time I seen somebody take that stance on
that.
Hey, look.
He said it's like when you found God.
He said rock bottom like he was Delonte West or something.
Yeah, listen, you almost rather be Delonte West than getting benched for Blaine Gabbert.
Oh boy, I did not know that. Yep, got benched in week 6 after throwing 1 for 5, historically worst performance ever.
No, but hold up though. He was doing knee way before that.
They thought he was throwing they thought he was throwing a fit. They thought he was being a brat on the sideline.
Well, they didn't. Do you know? Hold on for a second. Before you even, do you know how it came to pass that he even that the media found out that he was taking a knee? Do you know how that even happened? How did that happen?
No, when they saw him, name the military guy. Because he kept kneeing, he was kneeing on the side. It was during the preseason.
No,
how you gonna say that?
Hold on, he was sitting on the sideline. He was sitting on the bench. He was sitting, and he went to consult. He went to consult a military guy. He's like, kneeling would be more respectful to do. So he got counsel from someone in the military.
Exactly.
To take the knee.
All that was trying to make.
Wait, one at a time, fellas. One at a time. All right, who's going?
That has to be false counsel because we see how it started.
I know.
No, wait. This is easy.
It happened during the preseason. You talking about he got benched? It happened during the preseason.
We got Google, y'all.
How you gonna talk about?
It's the Kaepernick timeline on Google that proves everything I just said. Just go Google
said it happened during the preseason.
It did. Go Google right now. The Kaepernick
timeline. But he got benched during the season, though.
He got benched during the season.
In the preseason.
Right. So if he did it during the preseason, he got benched during the season. He got benched during the season. Went into the offseason. Then when the offseason happened, they told him he wasn't starting. They still was gonna go with Blaine Gabbert.
No, they wasn't. No, they wasn't. That's not true because he was hurt.
He was hurt. He timeline right now.
Hey, Jim. All right.
Let's move to current quarterbacks.
So
while Gene got the mic, I do want to know. No, we're not doing the current quarterbacks. While Gene, you got the mic. We said this is Kyler Murray's last year, right?
Baseball is coming. Baseball's coming.
You got all the hot takes. You got all the hot takes.
Why y'all think that?
Baseball's coming.
Why y'all think that?
Man, he Call of Duty drop in October. Baseball's coming.
So bringing those who haven't been on the day is Gene gave us this a couple years ago. He said Kyler Murray will be out of the NFL in 3 years. So this is the third year. So this is technically Kyler Murray's last year in the league. That was a Gene exclusive.
It's the last dance.
This is the last dance. So we're going to watch and see.
He can still go play baseball. He's still young.
He's saying the Cards going to do shitty this year.
I said they got one of them guys out on the outside, though.
They do got one guy.
They got one of them.
It's one of those
boys.
Yeah, they got nice tight end. They got decent running backs. I think Kyler Murray here to stay. I think.
Yeah, they got one of them guys on the outside.
If the organization didn't believe in him, they would have got one of them quarterbacks.
Man.
Oh, they were trying. Don't think they wasn't trying.
It was right there.
They couldn't trade up to get it. They wasn't trying.
The person that
they wanted. The person that they wanted.
Who they want?
No, they wanted Caleb. Everybody wanted Caleb. They wanted Caleb. I mean,
all right. So
it was 1,000 quarterbacks coming out. So
we're going to be that we're on the Kyler Murray watch to see. In October is probably when we're going to adjust it. Probably October Live. We'll be talking about this. We're going to do. Gene's going to have the schematics of his stats where they're trending. If they're trending up and down. But another quarterback, since we are on quarterbacks, let's go from one hardball to the next hardball. Hardball came out for the Ravens. It's Jim, right? Or John? This is Jim.
John.
Either way, John. Thank you. He came out and said that Lamar is the greatest quarterback and will be the greatest quarterback ever. How do we feel on that statement?
That's a lie, but
I see. It says thumbs up, and then
that's a lie.
CEO, you say that's a lie.
How? What's the measurement?
That's a great question.
That is
but when you say ever, I mean it's like ever, forever, like forever, like all time, the greatest.
He's not. He's saying that he will become. He said he will become, right?
Will be the greatest, correct? Like he's saying. Oh, that's my bad. See, he's saying when it's all said and done, he's saying that Lamar will be the greatest.
So, how I just see the trajectory going now, like right now he's not better than Mahomes, and Mahomes hasn't even come close to his prime yet. So to me, that's kind of null and void. And then when you say ever, I mean, I know the game has changed. I know the position has changed. The position has changed drastically, like what they look for, and they're like, they want the dynamics with the legs and as well as the arm and stuff like that. So I think, that clearly salute to Michael Vick, but him kind of sort of being like a blueprint for them. This new age quarterback, I think he could be, without question, he'll be considered one of the greats. Well, for one, he's going to have to win before he really gets there. He's going to have to win. He's going to, at the very least, make an appearance or two in a Super Bowl before we start having that conversation. Yeah. So he's
going to win a playoff game.
Right, that too. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot. Is he box office? Absolutely. Like, but is he, as far like the greatest quarterback
ever? And the question was ever? The statement was ever?
Ever. He's not the best now.
He's going to be, right? So it's like, we're on the church thing today and God. So that's the prophecy that he's making.
Well, we can also do like they do in basketball. You know how they be like, who's the greatest ever to never win a ring? Like, so we create something like that.
I think excuse me, guys. I don't have anything super elaborative to say about it. I'm just gonna say I think Coach Harbaugh is saying what he what he needs to say. First of all, you want to feel like your players trust you. You want to feel like your players trust you. I don't know if you guys have already kind of talked about the Coach Flores and the Tua situation, but you don't want anything like that to happen. I feel like by now Lamar and Coach Harbaugh have a pretty good rapport, but I think that he's saying what he feels like his number one guy needs to hear from him. I'm sure he's probably seen some things out of Lamar that may indicate, what, I know that he's, probably feeling like he needs to go ahead and get those wins that DJ CEO was alluding to. He needs to go ahead and like make a mark. He needs to go ahead and make or feels like he needs to go ahead and make a good impression right now. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that Coach Harbaugh feels like by saying this, I need to make him, I need to instill some confidence in him just in case he's not, he doesn't have the most confidence in himself, because I think that is a very real thing. These quarterbacks get to a certain, they get to a certain point in their career and they're like, yeah, I need to go ahead and make some shake.
So gassing them in a positive way, right? Like, and I think, and anybody can jump in on this, but also, Jazz, you brought up another situation because of what happened with Tua and Coach Flores, right? So, these quarterbacks, any sport, it is a mental game. So, like, what do you guys feel on that or the Coach Flores and Tua situation? Not all at once.
Yeah, I ain't really. I didn't check out what he saw. I just know that he was just probably just saying some things about him, but like kind of on the lines that Jazz was just saying. Like, I mean, you need your coach to hype you up. What's that one song? You don't need no beat, better hype your best up. And that's kind of all what it is.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? You don't want to like you.
Wow.
I'll be outside, John.
Wow.
I will say I was impressed.
That's what it is, though.
I was actually impressed with more than anything was Flores. The way that he came back and wasn't as defensive as I thought most coaches would be. He took the feedback that Tua gave. Tua came for him hard, and I think he had the right to. I don't know all the circumstances, what was going on in that organization, but nonetheless, Tua felt one way, and Flores came out and took it. And so I thought that was some man-up shit to do, because most cats I don't think would be able to take that. They'll be defending why they made this decision, that decision, why they did this, why you treated them like that. He's like, yeah, man, like I was a different guy. I'm somebody different today. And he stood up. And I think that says a lot for the players he's going to coach in the future, regardless of go ahead. What you got?
No, I was just going to say, Brian, I hate that I have not got around to or haven't seen what his response was, because when I kind of go back to the opportunity that was extended to him by Coach T, my favorite coach, Coach Tomlin, it just made me go like, well, he can't. I mean, he can't be that bad. And I don't know how long Flores. I feel like that was that both of their first years, Coach Flores and Tua.
It was first.
He's been there
before him, I think.
Yeah, Flores was there before him.
Okay, but I want to say that might have been his second. I just know Coach Flores had not been there that long. So I kind of feel like he caught Coach Flores at a time where he probably felt like the heat was on him because that ended very ugly. So here you are, you got a coach who's one of the very few in the NFL. He's also trying to assert himself as, somebody. He's trying to, figure out, look, what's the best way to get through to him as well. And so even though, a lot of people kind of point back to him coming off of the Belichick coaching tree and everything, at the same time, it ain't the same for everybody. Like, yeah, I'm from the Belichick tree, but then I have this other thing.
I'm black from the Belichick tree.
So it's kind of, it's kind of like unfortunate, that was the impression that was left with Tua. But I definitely think I don't know, just if this is just my own, it didn't make me look at Coach Flores like, yeah, he really might be a terrible person. Like, I just think that those circumstances were just kind of, those were some tough circumstances. And I hope Tua kind of looks back and is like, you know what, maybe I should have given him just a little bit of grace. And then Coach Flores is probably like, you know what, I was probably trying to figure out who I am as a head coach too, and how to best get through to this young. So,
I definitely think one quick thing before you jump in, Gene, is like MH always says too, and we've talked about this, is he has a amazing circle around him. His circle told him the right way to respond, because I'm very sure that's not his immediate response that he wanted to have.
Right.
After going through what he went through. And like when you tell another man, like, man, I didn't want you. Like, you got drafted because I wasn't trying to draft you. Like, all the things that he went through, the fact to where he's suing the league, his team and legal team was like, oh, hey, they're expecting you to come back as an Avery Blackman. Hit him with this. Right. And because I think that's where this, growth is. One, yeah, you can say it's growth that he chose to accept that, because a lot of times we as a culture don't have that person, because our first thing is like, this motherfucker about to disrespect. Like, if it was somewhere else in another kind of place, I don't think that's how that goes down. But he has a great team that told him the right solution for the long game. And a lot of times we forget what the long game is. So my bad, Gene, you was about to say something?
No, I think it's one of those things, like all those coaches from that Belichick tree, I've heard all of them the same. Every single one of them do the same. Belichick used to do it to Brady all the time. He used to just berate Brady. And Brady would say, he's like, Brady used to do this to me all the time. And I think all of them felt like, you know what? I can do this same thing when I got a head coaching job. And it just didn't pan out. They say Josh used to do that all the time to everybody on the team. That's why he's terrible with the Raiders, terrible with the Broncos, because he was the same way. He used to always just bash people. Like, he just bashes players all the time. But that doesn't work for everybody. In this new era, you can't do that to $40 million quarterbacks, bro. You gotta be.
It's less than that. It's less about the money and the contract. This new era of athlete in general, this new era of human beings, they're not built the same way to kind of deal with the stuff that comes in the locker room when you have like this high level of testosterone and this. Everybody's always on edge, particularly in football. But if you look at all the athletes in all professional sports, they are not they're not built the same. So for what Brady was able to do, he was talking to a man who understood how to handle that and how to kind of just live in that space. It's just a way different time in how we interact as humans, but particularly as athletes, they're just not the same. They are hypersensitive. And the things that coaches and players were able to do to each other back then just doesn't fly now, no matter what coaching team you come from.
You know what's crazy about that whole thing, C, is the fact that Tua came from Nick Saban's program, where Saban was basically up in New England learning from Belichick. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, Saban basically treated those players the same way that Belichick treated players you would think that Tua would have been used to something like that, and he wasn't as soft. But no, you're
college
right.
is different. But college is different than the pros. It's way different.
No, I'm saying, but yeah, because you can't talk back. But
I'm gonna say something else. Though. I think that I put it this way. I'm not saying that anybody's comparing to, but I think that Saban, he had been around for so long at that point. Like, I mean, it's like, what you gonna say to Nick Saban? Like, I feel like how established he was at that point, like being the god of football coaching, college football coaching. I'm gonna let you talk to me however you want to talk to me. I'm probably gonna win a national championship.
And I'm gonna have a shot to get in the league.
But with that being said, though, it's the young athlete. I mean, what CEO's saying, it's a young athlete. I mean, ideally, regardless of who your coach is, coming up, how we all came up, you take whatever your coach is saying, as long as he's not putting his hands on you for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, you take what the coach is giving you, and you don't talk back, you don't do all that. But nowadays, these new athletes, like you're saying, you know, you don't have to have won like 20 national championships in order to be able to talk to a player. Right. Although nowadays, even if you have 20 national championships and whatnot, you can barely talk to a player.
You can barely talk to them, right? But somebody an NIL deal in place now. They definitely ain't listening.
Somebody just mentioned it, but Saban is on record saying he had to coach Tua differently. Saban will always say it. He was like, "Listen, I'm gonna y'all not all gonna get treated the same at all." And then also
Jimmy
Saban
Johnson was always famous for saying that.
Saban also had Miss Terry. So when he was bashing the play out, Miss Terry was like comforting him and bringing him back. Like, listen, he's like this. You're gonna be okay. You're gonna do good. You're gonna be fine. It was a whole system. Like, it was a lot of good cop, bad cop going on in Alabama.
This is a dangerous trend. First of all, Tua has done absolutely nothing to deserve any special treatment. First off,
well, he went to slide school. Like, he knows how to slide now.
He's done, it's wild. Like, it's, you know how like certain athletes, like you've accomplished, like, you know, your Jordans, anybody. You don't have to be like that level. You're Melo. Like, you've done enough in your career, whereas you just allowed to do certain shit. Like, Tua hasn't done anything.
Not in the pros. Not in the pros.
To deserve whatever. But to your point,
hey, you talking about the passing leader of the NFL last year? Don't be disrespectful.
Here,
don't say he hasn't done anything.
But if you're not,
how many playoff games has he won?
Those are what we call caloric stats. Those are not protein stats. Those are caloric stats. We don't celebrate.
Hey, Colin Kaepernick has. Colin Kaepernick never done it.
Who?
Kaepernick, but he won. He's won playoff.
He went to the Super Bowl, though.
He's off
He been to the Super Bowl.
Stop it. He been to the Super Bowl.
He's off with Cap.
Yeah, exactly.
I also think Tua just got that guy this last year, to be honest with you. Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill was out there, and Tyreek Hill wasn't there before then. Tyreek Hill, I think, was voted #1 overall best player by the players this past year. I would say so. He just got one of them boys this past year. I do think that was huge. When he was at Alabama, he had, Ruggs, Smith, all those dudes, man. So he just got some talent around him. And you probably play better with more talent around.
Like, you need a guy. Like everybody be bashing Mac Jones. Like, they gave Mac Jones a DC as an OC and no wide receivers. Like, what do you? I was like, he not going
that guy.
I don't know.
You mean you can't be successful like that?
You can't be successful like that. They gave him a DC as a DC who's never OC'd in his life. As his OC. Like, what were y'all doing over there? Like, y'all was trying to ruin that man. Now he's like all pro preseason player right now because he's actually playing with some real people. And
he's all pro preseason.
He's all preseason right now.
More caloric.
Oh, we got some winners today. Caloric
like
stats.
A real quarterback out there because he's not playing with a DC as his OC.
That is funny. All pro.
I think, especially a lot of these young quarterbacks, I think it's all about situation.
Absolutely.
We don't know who you are until you, because Miami didn't know what the hell they were doing. Like, Miami been bad for so long. They finally like, all right, you know what? We might need to get him a receiver. Might have to have him throw to somebody.
But in Florida's defense, though, I mean, he took a team that was hot garbage, and wasn't he over 500 as a head coach down there?
No,
Yeah, he went like 9-8 or 8 or something like that the first season.
Yeah.
I mean, and then to get fired after doing that,
and he was beating Belichick, which was like one of those things.
When the owner don't like you, he don't like you, bro. Like it's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah,
like
it's
if the
hard to
owner
overcome that.
Like if the owner's pick was Tua, and you're destroying Tua,
right?
It's not gonna work out.
No.
Yeah,
all right.
That's true.
All right, so MH, ready to do? Did you got that pulled up?
Yeah, I got you.
All right. So, this has become a topic of the August Live because we got different interests and things like that. So we're going to jump into that now because I know some people have to jump off for various reasons. So I wanted to do this while we had a full day. We want to talk a little bit about Colorado and our man Coach Prime, man. I mean, I know there's definitely love and love, hate, and just kind of expectations and maybe even over-exaggerated expectations. So we want to kind of go through the season because we had some. I wish there was a couple of people that were definitely on here. Shout out to Bobby Steels and Mr. MH. My bad, MH, but Mr. International, who was on last year. But we're going to go through the schedule and kind of see what their schedule is going to be. Does anybody have some quick thoughts of what their schedule is going to be? I know, Gene, you got. What do you think they're going to go really quick, man? Their win-loss season this year.
I think from I'm looking at it, I say 7.
Okay, win 7. That's a little higher than what you thought. Okay. Anybody else got some predictions? We're going to go one by one of what their win-loss is going to be this year. And and while you guys are thinking about that, there's been some things going on, right? So you got a guy who left the program and just talked about how bad the program was. You got coaches left. You got them giving Peggy, the oldest alumni, NIL deal. So she's the first non-player to get an NIL deal. Sent one of the coaches to get Saudi money. So they were going over to Saudi Arabia looking to get Saudi money for their NIL deals, which is, hell, that's smart.
Getting there, money.
That part, absolutely.
Got a bankrupt quarterback in college. He's filed. Folks filed for bankruptcy or no, was that the other dude?
That was his DB.
Either way, to me, it all looks like a reality show. But I give him about 6 wins. It's just
6.
reality.
All right. We got 7, 6. Okay, and then overall, let's keep it easy. Is it still 6 wins to get a bowl game, or are they going to a bowl game? Everybody think they're going to a bowl game?
Yeah.
6 wins.
I don't even know.
I think they're in the easier conference now.
No, that conference ain't that easy.
No,
it's not what the Pac-12 was last year.
The Pac-12 was an anomaly last year, right? And it sucks that they went out like that.
The Pac-12 last year.
Yeah, it ain't that easy though. They got some good teams they're gonna have to play. No matter what, they're gonna have to play them.
I think Baylor and Oklahoma State are like the big.
Okay, wait. Okay, so MH, let's go through it. You got that, Scott? Why don't you go through it, and we're gonna do everybody give us that win or loss, what they think of the schedule. So go ahead, hit it with MH.
All right, they opened up with North Dakota State.
Oh, that's scary.
That's the win.
It is scary.
That is scary.
We'll say win.
Okay.
Week 2, they're at Nebraska. Week 3, they're at Colorado State.
Hold on. Do we get win or loss? I didn't hear anything from everybody. Everybody got quiet.
I think they lose to that Nebraska team.
They do lose to Nebraska.
That Nebraska team. They
is that home or away?
They start. They
at Nebraska.
At Nebraska. Great question, cuz. They're at Nebraska.
Nebraska got the young kid coming in, the quarterback, and they got some other guys. It's Big Ten, man. They got to play hard nosed football. They're gonna lose that.
I got Colorado.
That's gonna be I think that's a different Nebraska team.
See, that's a 50-50. So all right.
Well, so then they at Colorado State next.
Win.
They got a little bit of beef though.
They almost lost last year.
Yeah.
All right, so that's a win. Next,
and then they at home against Baylor.
I think they beat Baylor.
Okay. Then they go to Central Florida.
They might lose to Central Florida.
Nah, they got
gotta
something
beat
for Florida.
You're gonna have to outscore them.
That's true. True. One of my guys just
Shootout.
got transferred. He just transferred there, so they should be all right. They'll beat them.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So then they got a bye week. Then they're at home against Kansas State.
Kansas State. I'm taking Kansas
At
State.
home. Okay. All right.
They're gonna lose at home to Kansas State.
Yeah.
They gotta score some points.
You got to look. Kansas State ain't never been no punk.
At this point, I don't think they're going to a bowl game. The way this is headed.
Yeah, the way I got. Okay, continue. Go ahead, mate.
They go to Arizona.
I think so.
Arizona ranked.
Arizona's ranked.
Yeah.
They lost their coach though.
Florida
They
State
did.
Ranked 21.
ranked too.
They did.
Yeah, they lost their coach.
It's gonna be a tough one. I think they might be able to pull that one out again. They might be able to beat
They
Arizona.
I
almost
think they
them
beat
last
Arizona.
year. They should have beat them last year. Then they at home against Cincinnati.
They beat Cincinnati. Cincinnati not good no more.
Okay.
They beat
And they go to Texas Tech.
They'll beat Texas Tech.
I think that would be a scary one too.
It's a trap game for sure.
Yeah, Texas Tech always play well at home.
At home, yeah, it's a trap game, but I think they win that.
And then they got Utah at home. They're not beating them.
They're not beating Utah.
And then they're at Kansas late in the season. This is November 23rd, so it's late.
Is Daniel's healthy? KU winning the game?
Okay. And then they end the regular season home against Oklahoma State.
That'd be a good one.
That's gonna be a good one.
They can win that at home.
Yeah, they can win.
Because Gundy will outcoach his own self to lose a game. So,
All right, so with the definitive wins, they're going to a bowl game with just 6 wins, and I think someone said 6 wins.
6.
So
You got to be
we
500 or above.
yeah,
500 or above.
You could get to a bowl game with just 6 wins.
Yeah,
I heard.
just
Some
6.
bowl games hold as much weight as they used to. It's like it seemed like it was. You look forward to it when you had to win like I think one point you had to win like 8,
Right.
and then it went to
Yeah.
7.
Damn, they had to run the table to get in the bowl game.
look, players don't even want. It was crazy. Players don't even want to play in the bowl game. So it's like,
Playoffs, that's gonna make them bowl games not even watchable.
That's actually a good point. Yeah, the bowl games, they don't even want to play.
And anybody gonna watch those for real. Once the playoff things start, it's just gonna be just extra stuff to watch.
And then, are they increasing the playoffs this year? Is that this year or not?
Yeah.
12.
That's this year. It's 12 this year.
Oh, yeah, the bowl game's really gonna be weak, man.
No, ain't nobody bro.
I don't want to get no bowl game. I'm playing.
Right. Yeah. Oh,
They gonna
And
be
it's
all right.
it's gonna be interesting, though, right? Because it's 12 teams, and was it 6 or 5 spots or for the
4. I think the
I thought it
top
was-
4 get.
I thought it was-
top 4 get a bye.
Yep. The conference, those 4 champions, right?
Yeah.
the 4 champions. Okay, automatic. So what's the 5th for? Best record.
I have no idea.
And then they do because there's 5 that's like automatic bids, right? And then the rest of them goes into like best record and the bowl committee votes and all that.
Yeah.
I want to say this, and this might be a transition to something else. This is everything that is happening, like you say, all these different changes in like college football. You see it in NBA and like they're doing things to make sports less enjoyable to watch. It's like they continuously lower the bar so everybody can have a chance. That's not what sports is about.
participate.
It's for money,
era,
baby.
man.
They're doing that for money.
No, I get it. No, I get the business model.
Yeah.
I totally get it. But it just makes it more difficult to watch. Like, it shouldn't be, let's just open it up. And like if you don't have enough wins, like you should be in the playoffs. What the NBA's doing, like teams are making the playoffs and people are like 10 games under 500. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing to sports? This is a real question. What are we doing?
Oh,
It's less sports and it's more entertainment. We're leaving the sports and it's becoming entertainment.
I think it's becoming not only more entertainment, but two, professional sports are also trying to find more ways to make money. So, like for instance, with the preseason tournament with the NBA, also with the play-in, it's just another streaming avenue for them to make money. And yeah, I mean it it is like, okay, what are we doing? I do see what you're saying.
You know how much Liberty fans gonna buy tickets when they make a playoff?
Oh, yo, first of all, I was at the season championship game for the Liberty. I was there, but I just think that everything they're doing is diluting the competition. Yeah. And I get it, it's going more towards entertainment. And now it makes me feel like they did and1 dirty, because if we're gonna do this, we could have kept going around for this.
But can I offer this? It seems like there are some instances. I guess it just depends on how the cards fall at the end of the season. But it also seems like it's hard to, I don't know. Like, for example, you may have a team that has made a very solid case for making it into the college playoff, i.e. Georgia last year. I'm sure everybody wanted to see Georgia. So it's almost kind of like, I don't know if they haven't figured out a model or they just like, fuck it. Can I say the F word? Excuse me. They're just like, it's hard to elevate one or like make enough room for those teams that are worthy that didn't make it in without diluting it. It's like, okay, on one hand, we trying to get those maybe that one or two teams that really should have been in the playoffs, but on the other hand, we got to create some balance. So by doing that, we're inviting the honorable mentions.
I think here's
honorable mentions.
I would say this from just talking to people who like work in the college space. They said they had to figure out how to make more money. So the only reason the SEC is like with Texas and all these other teams now is because a TV network came to them and say, "Hey, go get Texas and Oklahoma. We'll give you this amount of money." Because right now, a lot of these teams, they're trying to figure out like it's coming down. We're gonna have to pay players, and a lot of these teams, people don't believe it. Most of the teams can't afford it. It's only the top 10 teams can actually afford it.
I wholeheartedly believe that because it shows that they can't afford it, which I hate it, but.
And most colleges, their athletic departments are operating off of a loss. You know what I mean? They're not making any money. So
I was like, think about LSU. LSU operated in the red,
which is crazy to think.
Which is crazy
to think about, right? Yeah.
Like a program like LSU, been operating in the red the last 2 years, and this is not even. They're not to the point where they have to pay players yet.
Is this just their football team or?
No, it's just the
athletic department. Yeah.
Just the athletic department as a whole.
Because you got to remember, when you have a college, most colleges operate with 20+ sports, men and women, and all of them aren't bringing revenue, so they have to pay for. They have to pay for all the rest of them.
I don't know how true it is, but I did hear some statistic a couple of years back on like, I think it was like more than half of like all major Division I's, like they operate, like the majority of their revenue comes from the football program.
Yeah,
no, it's true.
Absolutely. I mean, depending on the school, of course, but for the most part, yeah.
Because you got to think about it. Like if a team won a championship, most of the conference teams getting paid off if you in the conference, so they get a lot of money from just TV deals.
It just depends on the school. Like schools like Syracuse and Duke, most of their money comes from the basketball program. Most southern schools.
Like Florida, schools like that. Yeah,
like all the schools in the Bible Belt are football schools, and that's where their revenue is controlled.
Yeah.
But all these other schools, they really looking into it. Like they've already been approached about cutting stuff back and cutting down different revenue, and because Title IX is there, like you got to have this women's sports, even though a lot of them operate in the red.
Yeah.
So. It's one of those things like, all right, we're going to have to start paying players across the board. Some decisions going to have to be made.
Anything to that, man, I do want to introduce, so that you guys see the Pitbull deal. It's talking about like different ways to kind of make money. So for the listeners and for those that don't know, Pitbull signed a naming rights deal with FIU, which is kind of like an amazing, like different look and a different source, right? Because like me being from the sponsorship business side of things, like, you go out and you look for companies that look to put their name, and now you have this entertainment that does an NIL deal. So now FIU Stadium is now called Mr. Worldwide. No. But no, it is like, it's, you'll see different fields where it's like, it's going to be, why can't I think his real name? Pitbull Stadium or field, I think, like that. And he gets like a couple of different deals, like to use the stadium, They're going to pour he's got the pouring rights. So they'll be pouring his vodka in the stadium. But, you know, they're just looking at different revenue plays because these schools have to find different avenues because some of these businesses are like, man, naming a stadium is not really doing anything for them anyway. So they're looking for these different routes to make money. Okay. All right. Keep it in the money stream because you guys had a lot about that one. We just did a recent show about the top jerseys or merchandise sales in the WNBA, and I don't know if you guys had a chance to see that. And my bad, MH. Do you know the list off top, MH?
I think so. Yeah, number 1 is Caitlin Clark. Number 2, Angel Reese. Number 3
was Ionescu.
4 was Kate Martin. 5 was
Angel. Yeah. Yes.
Number 5 was who?
Asia.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh wow, it's definitely the reaction that we was looking for, right? So
interesting.
I mean, when you look at the first 2, you kind of be like, oh, okay, because it's I guess the parameters was we got it from Fanatic Sports. Said they looked at the sales from was it the beginning of the season to July. So you know. So, you know, one of the things we posed, if you didn't go see that episode, please go check out the Locker Room episode. It's called Top 5. We kind of talked about what it would look like at the end of the season, right? Because it was before the Olympics, you know, so you had Asia that was actually playing Olympic things like that. And then, you know, for us, it was just surprising but awesome to see, like, there was another Aces player in the top 5. And, like, you know, with Kate Martin being on there. So any thoughts about that?
Wow, I'll speak up for that. I deal with the Aces a ton. Kate Martin, I'm looking at the list now. That's crazy to me that Kate Martin is the number 4 jersey in the WNBA, which is bananas. She hasn't played, I don't think, since she played maybe one game, a little bit in one game since they came back from the Olympic break. But I mean, Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, that's kind of a no-brainer. You can kind of tell that was going to be that way. It shouldn't be that way, but you kind of knew it was going to be that way. Asia Wilson, who is the best player in the league, even though Nafisa Collier is trying to ball right now. She should be tops, but just the fact that the amount of eyes that are on the WNBA right now, the amount of eyes that are on the on women's basketball is, especially with the Olympic team and everything else, it's a great time, especially as a man who's got 2 daughters. Like, man, it's where it should be right now, and I think it's doing really well.
Why you say they shouldn't be at the top?
Because I mean, ideally, you think that the best players, in my opinion,
we talking about fandom. We're not talking about skill.
Yeah, no, but I mean,
because the best players is always hardly ever the number 1 drivers.
But also fandom.
Hold on, no, that's not necessarily true. Because I mean, if you think about the NBA, who was the top selling jersey?
They don't care in the NBA.
She said they don't care.
like that.
Anybody want to Google that really quick?
What I'm saying is, I mean, you say it's not like that, but for the most part, you're not going to have a bench player being the best. I mean, I get the fact that Caitlin Clark is more popular and Angel Reese is more popular.
It was Steph Curry,
Jason Tatum, LeBron James, and Victor Wembanyama.
And I would argue,
and I would argue, Jokic is better than all of them.
Right, and which is wild.
There's no argue.
I didn't see a Victor Wembanyama jersey anywhere, but
he's better than all of them. Okay, that's another. That's the second most ridiculous thing you just said today.
I'm not the only one that feel that way.
That is happening.
Yeah,
not at all.
So my question would be like, who all has daughters?
I've got 2 girls.
I'm a girl daughter.
So I guess my thing is like, okay, who's buying the NBA jerseys? Who's buying the WNBA jerseys? Why are the consumers that are purchasing the NBA jerseys purchasing it? And why are the consumers who are purchasing the WNBA jerseys purchasing them? Like,
I would look at myself. Like, I probably have like 4 Asia jerseys, but I also have a Angel Reese college jersey. I have an Angel Reese pro jersey. I have a Caitlin Clark college jersey. I have a Caitlin Clark pro jersey. I also have other girls around the league jersey. I have plenty of Maya Moore jerseys. So I buy them because I'm supporting the league. I support who I like.
Shaking his head. Shout out to Maya Moore. Got her jersey retired.
Maya Moore. Golly.
So how many?
Maya Moore was that girl.
I'm happy she found love. Go ahead, Jazz.
Yeah, I'm mad.
Finally, a good statement by Gene.
Go ahead, Jazz.
Now, I was just gonna say, so how many consumers you think are like yourself, like they're buying these jerseys genuinely to support the league? You know what I'm saying? Or is it just kind of like, man, this player is hot right now. I'm seeing this player on social media live, boom, boom, boom. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I do kind of agree with you, Brian. Like, if you're looking at it from a skill standpoint, like Asia, she's the most, by most metrics, the most dominant player in the WNBA. But like, now who's really buying these jerseys, or who are these jerseys being bought for? Like, are they being bought for,
kids?
It's the kids. It's definitely kids, young kids.
I mean, so I would say, as somebody that has worked in a venue, multiple venues that have WNBA teams, and looking at who's making those purchases, particularly like on a day of, it is actual fans. I would say what you're seeing with the jersey sales for this year, particularly, I think because of the focus that has been placed on the college battle over the last 2 to 3 years, I think that's what's probably sparked the increase in jersey sales in Caitlin Clark and in Angel Reese versus someone like an Asia Wilson.
By association.
Exactly. Like you're looking at a lot of, again, fathers, a lot of mothers, a lot of families buying those jerseys for their daughters, because their daughters, and even sons, because there are a lot of young men that have now become like enamored with the WNBA because they're like, oh my God, there are all these beautiful women and they're playing basketball and I want to marry her one day, so I'm gonna get her jersey. Listen, my son was a huge Maya Moore fan, so I understand where Gene is coming from. He was like,
or get flued out now.
He was like,
these dudes getting flued out by these WNBA players.
Listen, if she can do it, go boo, go. But I would say that's the difference that you see now in the jersey sale purchase, particularly again when you're looking at a Caitlin Clark and an Angel Reese. Those are the women that have been talked about the most. If you weren't a WNBA fan, you don't know the other names. And when you go to these games and you see the fans for WNBA go hard for their merch.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it is because they do want to support their teams. They want other people to see and know the name, and they want these women to feel supported in what they do. So they do. But what you're seeing in the rookies that are coming in and their jersey sales are so high, it's stemming from the college rivalry that we saw over the last years. That's where the focus is. Because if you look at the NBA sales for the last few seasons, it's the same people. Steph had, like, I think he had the 23 and 24 season. Before that, it was LeBron from 2019 to 22. So, it's, I feel like NBA jerseys are more a fashion statement, where WNBA jerseys are more a statement of support. I think we're still in that era. WNBA isn't as mainstream yet, so it is a sign of support. You see a lot more men wearing WNBA jerseys to say, I support the league. Versus an NBA jersey, you're just wearing that as a fashion statement.
And it's just other jerseys. You think about it, Juju jersey, Juju jersey, you can't find it anywhere. Paige Becker's, you can't find her jersey anywhere. And I think a lot of that was the college, what they did compared to what the WNBA was doing, helped out a lot, because the way they marketed, the way they use their social media channels to promote women, it helped the Caitlin Clarks and Angel Reese just blow up once they came to the league. And it's like old school basketball. Remember when we
talked about this on the last episode? The last one I was on, we talked about it in the sense that this is the Magic Johnson, Larry Bird group.
Right. But even when we was coming up, like all these players that played in college, they was able to build their name in. So when Chris Webber was coming out, the Webber jersey when he came out, like everybody, like that's what women's basketball is right now. And I said, I think it's going to continue to happen where all these women that's coming in, all the popular stars like Juju, Paige, and everybody else that's coming in, they're gonna come in with a fan base already intact, and
Oh,
they're
yeah.
gonna immediately skyrocket.
You gotta
It's
look
just
at it.
Go ahead.
You got to look at it this way also. Like there are multiple. I don't know what that.
Yes. If your volume is up, turn it down. Or if you're not speaking, definitely mute your mic because we are getting some feedback. Go ahead. See you.
I said so. One of the things that I mean, there's always like multiple layers to it, right? You brought up Chris Webber. You really look at the Fab Five. That was more of a. That's more hip hop than anything. Like hip hop propelled them because of what they represented to the culture. I think also there's a difference between like fans, even though fan is short for fanaticism. Like there's a difference between fans and fanaticism, right? If you look at, we talk about like Asia Wilson was clearly the best player in the WNBA, right? And why she is the number one. But when Magic and Bird came in the league, I'm sure it's like they were the number one jersey sellers. But Kareem was at the time was like the best player in the league, but nobody was buying Kareem. Kareem jerseys probably like excelled in the early 2000s when throwback came in, right? That's just they're like different elements. I think the culture, particularly hip hop culture, because it's the dominant culture in the world at this moment, right? Like that plays a big part. I think with the WNBA, and I said this before, we've had multiple conversations surrounding the WNBA regarding salaries, regarding popularity and support and all this stuff. Like this is what their 30th year, something like that. 20. I don't know the number. Like again, they are on time for their ascension. For as far as professional leagues go, they're on time.
They're actually ahead of time. Yeah, that's a great point.
All of this stuff creates like perfect storms. Like what they did in college, the college machine getting behind them, we're gonna push this, we're gonna push this, we're gonna push this. The WNBA benefited from that. The game, Ebony, that you got us the tickets for the championship game. I had no idea I was sitting behind this girl. We were sitting behind what is her Kate Becker's, her nickname was like Buckets or something. I forget what it's like. Kate, what's her name? Paige Becker's, right. Literally sitting right behind her, and we had no idea. And we're sitting there, and it's like just hordes of like teen girls and like moms that come in. They're like, what the hell is happening? And the whole UConn team was like sitting in front of us, and we didn't even know. Right. But to see that reaction, to see like when she comes to the league, is gonna take it in like if Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark are Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, then this girl is going to be what Michael Jordan was.
I told you, I was like, Paige was the original.
Right, but she was younger. She's younger. Because she's gonna be like, and she's gonna take it to the next level. And then we'll get to the point where we're no longer having this conversation about salaries and all this stuff. And WNBA will have finally arrived.
Right, because Paige was on ESPN. Paige was on ESPN in high school. Paige was like that girl.
Yeah.
No,
I was going to speak
coming to Candace Parker.
I was going to speak to what DJ was just saying in regards to them being right where they need to be. Because if you look back. The NBA, when they were in their 30th year, they were nowhere near making the salaries that they're making right now. And so, but I also do feel like what we need to do on the women's side of things is try to get buy-in from from the little girls at a younger age. So like there's a statistic. I have been on my AU program for 10 years, and I just stopped when I had my first son. And so there was a statistic out there that between I think it was like the 5th grade to 7th grade, like the girls basketball drops off like 40%. And so, if some way, somehow we can close that gap, then you'll start to see, I feel like you'll start to see more of the women's side coming into full effect. But like you said, like just where they're at right now, I feel like, also like EJ said, I feel like they are ahead of the curve, but I do feel like there's more marketing, like I said, and I feel like if we're more focused on the youth, I feel like that will expedite the women's experience.
I agree.
Well, I'm just building on that. I think what the drop off you saw again was previous to the support that you're now seeing for women's basketball. When you talk to, I'm not going to disclose my age, but women that were playing basketball, when I was in high school, a lot of them didn't expect to make it to the WNBA, you know, and majority of them hoped that they would be able to get a college scholarship because it just wasn't that popular. So it was like they had to focus on other things if they were planning on getting that college education. The ability to stay focused on basketball because it was going to produce something else was very different for a woman than it was for a man. So I think where you're referring to, you know, keeping young women involved, I think there is now that reward for parents, for young women to stay involved, because now you see there are opportunities. You're seeing it with the NIL and the sponsorship deals that are being provided to these young people in college. You're seeing it with, you know, what's happening in the WNBA and more people watching, and them literally having to move from smaller venues into larger venues to be able to hold the capacity when they play certain teams. So I think we're going to see that in the coming years because we are going through that progression. And we do now have social media, which has been something that's been able to elevate the level of game. It's been able to elevate the level of personality that you're now able to see and learn more about the women that are playing these games. So I think all we're going to continue to see is a natural growth. And it just takes, you know, individuals like us continuing to talk about it, but also going out there and supporting it and bringing others out there to support it. But it is growing, and it is growing very fast, and it's amazing to see. Because again, I've been working in venues for a really long time, so I know what the Washington Mystic game used to look like. I know what the Sting game used to look like.
Another thing I'll say too is if you look on the boys side, like for instance, so this will be our 4th annual coming up in February. We call it Queen of the Court. And so what we do is, me being here in Oklahoma, we invite the top 8th grade girls, 40 of the top girls, to Tulsa in order to play against each other. So we do an all-star game, you know, MVP trophy, Sweet 16, the whole 9. And so if you look at even how that is structured on the boys side of things, if we can get more people to start identifying these girls at an earlier age, I think that once again will help as well.
And the women's game is, and I've said this before, is a far better product than the men's game.
Amen. We're going back to church.
But it's not even close.
It's not close.
The women's game is a far better product than the game.
DJ, I as a player development coach, I learned way more sitting down watching the women than I ever learned watching the men.
They care more. There's far more of an investment in the game. Like, to your point, like the men's game is so much more just about the entertainment value. And it's like, as somebody who played the game and played at a relatively high level, like I want to watch a game, like a really good game. And when I want to watch a really good game, I watch the WNBA. I watch women's college basketball because the game is just way better.
I told somebody it's weird now. It's like, I probably know more women that's up and coming in basketball than I know men that's up and coming.
Right. They know how to play
I know all the little high school girls that are coming up like, oh, that girl gonna be a star. She see the next coming. Like, you know all of them now because they go into college and we actually get to see them for more than just 1 year and they're not just out.
And that's the thing. I think from the college standpoint, they're doing a really better job. One, because they have to stay there. So which is always MH's point about college.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I do. 3 years helps. The best marketing in the world.
I do think we got a newfound appreciation for like skill development too, right? I mean, if you just look at who the top jersey sales are on the pro sides on both ends, outside of the marketing, the entertainment pieces of it, Steph Curry is a highly skilled player. Is different from, like, you know, Shaq or the dominance of Giannis and LeBron, and Caitlin Clark is a highly skilled player. So I think as society, we appreciate skill development a little more than we did in the past. I maybe just from my opinion.
I think it's about the hard work. I think it's about the hard work. Like as regular average Americans that aren't making millions of dollars, when you see somebody that takes pride in what they do at the level that they're playing at, it makes you don't mind spending the money because you're like, that person is working hard. They're not just out there to be seen, or they're not taking for granted the talent and the opportunities that they have. Because again, when you look at Steph Curry and the pedigree that he comes from, he could have been a lazy basketball player.
Oh yeah, 100%. But
he could have said, "Nah, it's whatever," but he didn't do that.
But even like we like in the 90s, we marketed Bo Jackson for running faster than everybody and jumping higher than everybody. Now we market Patrick Mahomes. It's a different. He's not the fastest person on the field. I don't know. I feel like we because there's so much access to development and people are learning tricks of the trade earlier. They have higher skills at an earlier age. I think we appreciate skill development even more, and I think that does help into.
But that's what's hurting the game.
I don't know that. I don't know if that's hurting the game. I was going to say this when we talked about it earlier.
It is.
I got a question for people. And I just thought about this. How much influence do you think Steph Curry has on the elevation of women's basketball? Here's why I say that. Because, Ebony, to your point, Steph Curry isn't overly gifted. He's a really hard worker.
Athletically,
to the average fan, looks looks like, oh, I can do that.
100%.
I think it's the skill.
It's not just the women's game. It's the overall game. You can't go to a pickup run without somebody pulling up from half court and they can't even shoot. But this is my point. In the men's game, there has been so much focus on individual skill development and not enough attention to actually playing the game the right way. When you really look at it, the skill level on the minus athletics, like the clear difference in athleticism, the skill level on the men's game and the women's game, there's not much of a difference. Great ball handling, great shooting, whatever. However, the women's game, they play the game. The men's, they don't play the game. They don't play.
I disagree. I really do. I think the women's game, they space the floor out just like the men space the floor out.
But there's body movement, there's ball movement, there's all of that.
But I just think there's how do I say? I just truly believe that we look at skills a lot differently. You can even take this to football, whereas flag football is growing exponentially because it's a skill set. It's not just about fourth and goal, run it, like bang your head in there. It's a different skill set. So now the 7-on-7 is a passing league on football. Flag football is more skill. It just looks completely different from the skill. And due respect to everybody on this call, I just think we getting old as hell. And what we think of, like, I really truly believe that.
Speak for yourself.
Nah, man. I just think we have shifted. Our eyes have just shifted where we're at on just the grand scheme of things, right? And then, and then we're saying, like, I remember back in our day when I used to, walk 2 miles to school. Like, I just think we've literally
you can say that, but the coaches are saying the same thing,
right?
But they're old too. They're old too. It is what it is. I mean,
the reason, the reason Anthony Edwards started sucking towards the end of the Olympics because he's an athlete, and just like Draymond said this a couple of years ago. Yeah. Draymond said it's like 12 players with actual basketball IQs. Everybody else is athletes.
Yep.
1,000%.
It's true.
I disagree.
Well, I'm sorry. I got to go with the NBA player on this.
Look at Dr. J never dribbled with his left hand, ever.
No.
Dr. J did not dribble with his left hand ever.
But you know why Draymond still has a job? Because
there be no Dr. J slander on this thing, man.
I'm not slandering him, but I'm just saying it's just different. We just
you can look at a basketball player like
if you watch, I guess I can give you.
But he's dumb as a box of rocks.
Yo, you can watch
because
an
he's not
NBA
making
game.
a great move,
man.
Like Ben Simmons, dumb as a box of rocks.
Yo, watch an NBA game.
We always get Ben Simmons in here.
Watch an NBA game.
Dumb as a box of rocks. Athletic as hell.
Watch how many plays are actually run. Watch how many plays are actually run. It's very few. It's more to stand there. You stand in the corner.
ISO ball. It's ISO ball.
They are well paid. They are well paid.
No, listen.
That's what they are.
Plays
Well
every
They're not.
Look at this.
They're not.
Did you see the end of the Aces game today? You see the end of the Aces game? You see the play that they ran to get a shot with 1.1 seconds left. Asia Wilson makes a bucket to win the game. What I'm saying is that's a play. That's a play. Like how many times do you see a good play run in an NBA game where they're running sets and they're actually getting shots? All they do is bring somebody over here, pick and roll, and that's it. They actually run plays.
That's what they do in the WNBA.
Nah,
I don't know. I feel like it. I honestly say this. I feel like it's
No, sir.
I truly do.
But look,
I truly believe this because if you watch how the Aces play, all they do, and Becky Hammond also coached in the NBA, all they do is find areas to give their best player the ball in spots that she likes it, which is what they do in the NBA as well. Like it's no different.
No, they run sets. They run sets.
Man, they don't run sets, man. No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
Just like they play in the NBA, just like they play in the WNBA.
At the very least,
you know why all the MVPs been foreign born?
Because they know how to play the game.
All the MVPs been
foreign. They know how to play the game.
Because they know how to play the game. They got basketball.
They know how to play the game.
They're not playing against idiots.
You want to know why? You want to know why we had a
Luka doesn't play IQ basketball. He just sits at the top of the key and jump, and he's a foreign guy. What are we talking about?
I don't know about jump. His jump.
He plays. Luka plays the exact same way LeBron James plays.
Do you want
Why
to
is
know
Luka smarter than LeBron James?
Whoa.
WNBA is dead.
Yes, they do. They have the ball.
Can we root a host?
The reason Luka's able to get
That's what I'm saying.
because of his basketball IQ. He has
What
no
are you talking about?
athleticism. He has no athleticism.
You have a new.
What I'm saying is this.
Okay,
What I'm saying is this.
what are you saying, mate?
LeBron James has the ball 20 seconds of the shot clock, just like Luka Doncic has the ball 20 seconds of the shot clock. It's no difference. It's all daddy ball. Daddy got the ball. I'll pass you the ball when I'm ready to pass you the ball. What's the difference? What's literally the difference?
You know when Luka showed his IQ this year? When him and Kyrie figured it out.
Okay, the same way LeBron did. He went with
how to
Kyrie
play
too.
with
What
each
are we
other.
saying? It's the same thing. What I'm saying is
You've been watching Ben Simmons too long. And
No,
Ben
I
Simmons
haven't.
has ruined you.
no.
I'm gonna put it into context for you, man. I'm gonna put it into context for you. And here's the difference.
Please put it in.
If you look at LeBron James' entire career,
Yep.
the way he plays now is not how he played his entire career. Largely due to the fact that he's just not the player he used to be.
Correct.
This dude with his IQ took teams that had no business being in the playoffs.
Who?
His early Cleveland teams.
Are we talking about LeBron?
Yeah, LeBron.
The GOAT.
Team who shouldn't have even been in the playoffs. Lottery teams.
That 07
in
when
the
he went to the
playoffs,
ship.
some to the finals, right? That's all IQ. You cannot do that without IQ. Now, the way the game is played now, first of all, he's not going to put in the same effort. Like what he's doing is amazing. He's not going to put in the same effort he put in before because he's 40 years old. He's going to sit there and be like, all right, this is what y'all want to do. Whatever. I'll do my best to kind of like navigate you guys. But you cannot teach. And the NBA is the last place. They don't teach in the NBA. If you got to the point, I'm not telling you that you need to go back door. I'm not telling you how you should look in my eyes. If you just want to stand in the corner, I'll figure out a way to get you the ball in the corner. But if the reason why the Warriors, as over the hill they are, they're still like they might could do something because they have a system that works. And it's not necessarily they specifically like run this play. They have motion, just body movement in general. That doesn't exist in the NBA.
The system does not work without Steph Curry. Let's be real about it. That system don't mean shit. Let's be real. I'm not trying to cuss on a Sunday, but that system does not work without Steph Curry. All I'm saying is basketball that I see. All I see, and it's always been the same. They're trying to get the ball to the best player.
Let's go back.
Now, hold on. Can I finish?
Yeah.
Let me finish this point. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Lisa Leslie, Rebecca Lobo, whoever we want to talk about. Their favorite spot back in the day was at the low post, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Asia Wilson can shoot from the elbow. She shoots from the three-point line. Caitlin Clark has the ball at the top of the key. It's just a different skill game. Shaq's favorite spot was in the low post, right? Now he's not the best part of the game. LeBron is.
Do nothing else.
But that's what I'm saying. Now everybody does everything else. All I'm saying is the game is the same. I don't think.
But what does it have to do with you having high IQ?
I just don't say. I'm saying the WNBA doesn't do anything different than the NBA does.
That is a
It's
lie.
just the best players are highly skilled.
That is a
The
lie.
best players are highly skilled, just like the NBA players are highly skilled.
That's just like, listen, sometimes you'll lean on that because that's just your best player. But when it comes down to it, it's straight IQ. You know why Minnesota lost to Dallas when they had way more talent than Dallas did? It's because of straight basketball. They have way more talent.
Way more talent.
Way more talent than Dallas. But they were dumb as a box of rocks.
Right.
They knew, like Dallas knew where to put them to make them look like we're gonna make them look bad. We know how to. We're gonna make the adjustments to make them look
At
bad.
the end of the day, the adjustment was Luka Doncic playing pick and roll at the top of the key. What are we talking about?
On top
it's the
of
best player's
Town,
favorite spot.
Taking way too many threes, but that's another story.
It's like you're gonna
I'm
put
sorry.
like,
Can
I've seen
we get back to
IQ.
talking about the ladies because y'all done got into the fellas a little.
I know.
No, but I'm just saying.
There you go,
All
Ed. Pull him back, Ed. Pull him back.
We'll go back.
No, I was saying the Paris game. In that game when they played Serbia, and then they knew in the first half they was getting their brains beat out.
Mm-hmm.
That's when LeBron and the smart basketball IQ is like, you know what? Let's push these guys out. Let's ruin their sets because we know what they're doing.
Right.
That's basketball IQ. Players don't have that no more.
They don't have IQ, bro.
They
don't.
to do that.
Have you seen Julius Randle play basketball?
Yeah.
He can't even
Yeah, he has definitely
spell
seen
IQ. He can't even spell IQ. He has zero IQ.
There's a lot of zero IQ ball players out there.
And he's
I just think we sound old, honestly.
That's
we
what
sound real
makes
old right now.
the women's game more attractive is because, to me, there's more women on the court that have a higher level of IQ all at one time.
At one time, yes. On any given NBA team, you're going to have one, maybe two at best, people with IQ on the floor. The women's game, everybody has IQ and the coaches get to coach. They don't go to the NBA.
I don't think that's no different, and I feel like that's a disrespectful comment to the women's game because I honestly feel like this is how I feel in a certain way. When we say that they play with more IQ, it's almost like saying I love Hoosiers basketball more than the Fab Five. To me, it to me it's just
but that's
not about that IQ
because it's not necessarily. Those women are hooping and their skill level is crazy. Just like the NBA skill level is crazy.
I get what you're saying, but it's current players saying it's a bunch of players that's dumber than a box of rocks out there playing.
Yeah, no, I'm sure they can say the same about WNBA players.
And here's the thing. We're not
all right, let's wrap this up, man. Let's get to the final thought of this.
We're not saying that women aren't highly skilled. We're not saying that. But we're talking about when it comes to because women are less athletic, right? Because the knock is, remember, the conversation is, oh, let's put it down to 9 foot so we can see more dunks, which is dumb. Like the thing is, they're just as skilled. But at the end of the day, when you're talking about making smart plays, and like I commented earlier, I learned more from women. When it comes to doing drills, I don't sit down and watch an NBA game. I sit down and watch the WNBA game and be like, okay, what can I learn? What can I implement? What can I teach both these boys and these girls? So we're not saying that they're any less skilled because that's false. To be a professional athlete, basketball player, male or female, you have to have some level of skill.
Right.
But when we're talking about the women from an IQ standpoint, from a smart standpoint, because we're not going to see them dunking on each other, they have to make smarter decisions. So there's better basketball played on the women's side.
See, I don't like that. I truly don't like that. I just
let's just chop it up. As this is definitely it's a preference thing. All right, like what you enjoy. I do believe that everyone has a preference of what they like. The WNBA is on a meteoric rise, and I think let's just celebrate that, enjoying the talents and what we're seeing is the evolution of their game. And it's at a point where, each game sees different evolution, right? So we talked about Steph. He changed the game, right? Like, there's multiple reasons we talk about why he changed the game. Shaq changed the game. Like each sport, there's evolutions. And right now in this evolution or iteration of the game, it just seems like what the day is saying here is they're enjoying the women's game a lot more, except for MH, who still feels that there's no difference between the two games.
I'm not saying I don't enjoy the game.
I didn't say that. I said that you enjoy both games.
Yeah, I enjoy both games for the same reasons. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's a different. I don't think it's different. I just think basketball is basketball, and this is the way that people play basketball now. Just like this is the way they played basketball back in the day. I truly believe that.
And a lot of dads have disagreed with that statement, and that's all we're saying. So you believe that the game is the same for the men and the women, okay? And a lot of other people feel that like there's different nuances in the women's game that makes it more enjoyable at this time. So agree to disagree. Maybe we need to do a whole show on this because that woke you up into a whole other level.
That's all it is to me. I just think ball is ball.
And I think everyone is saying that ball is ball. They're just saying that they enjoy the women's game at this point in time for what's going on, right? And just like with a lot of things, right? Like when people pick certain teams, they watch certain teams because teams kind of carry momentum.
Can I ask this though? Can I ask this really quick on that same as ball on that? So in college, they run a lot of sets, right? Right on the men's side and the women's side. Why is that not enjoyable? Why is men's college basketball not enjoyable but women's college basketball? They're both just playing the right way, quote unquote.
But to be honest, I would push back on that because I would say my opinion on the men's game runs from the pros down to AAUs. I think
okay, I'm with you.
I think they're all playing the same way. I've watched college basketball games and everybody thinks they're Steph and they're not. They're pulling up maybe one pass, they pull up. If you go to the park, it's the same thing. If you go to pro-am tournaments, it's the same thing. It's literally, again, this is why I think N1 got shitted on. Because even though I don't think from a skill set like they were NBA ready, but what we're watching now is the N1 schemes, not the illegal tricks and stuff, but it's one-on-one. You put somebody at the top of the key, let them cook. If they get double or triple, they kick it out. But it's not enjoyable, and everybody shooting threes is just not enjoyable. Like it's not fun to watch.
And I agree with that sentiment because I agreed with it. I didn't agree with it as much a couple of years ago, but being a basketball scout over the past 2 to 3 years, like I agree with it even more so because I have to sit here on the sideline and watch this stuff up close and personal, not only at the middle school level, at the high school level, but now even at the college level, helping college guys get professional. So it's like, damn, so I agree with you, DJ. I see the exact same thing. But once again, it's not that they have less skill. It's just to me, once again, the guys have more freedom and it's 1, 2, 3 passes. Bam, then the ball is going up and running down to the other end.
Right. And I'm not looking, and please don't get it twisted. I'm not looking to go back to the 90s where it was slow, pounding ground. That's not what I'm saying. But the Warriors were extremely enjoyable to watch. How they played the game.
Sure.
Body movement, ball movement. Yes, Steph was the man. Steph can do whatever he wants because he can handle a rock. He can shoot from wherever. He can shoot a 363, whatever. Like he can do whatever. But their system was very enjoyable to watch. Similar, and to be quite honest, that's kind of been Golden State's like DNA since the Run TMC.
Yeah, forever.
Right. That's what they've been. And that's also kind of just been West Coast basketball in general. You go back Showtime Lakers and whatever. But there are things, there are more similarities to me in when I watch women's basketball and how Golden State plays, how I'm trying to think of other like really good, like NBA teams that have like a really good like offensive scheme. I'm actually drawing a blank. That's how bad it's gotten. But in general, like that is very enjoyable to watch. You still get the flashiness, you still get the entertainment, but the game is being played with high IQ. I just think we're in a time in which, particularly the men's game, high IQ is not priority, and you can see it because the focus is on individual skills. Like Chris Brinkley is like a god, and I'm watching this and I'm like, is this kid going to learn how to
implement that into the actual game?
How to set himself up to get no, you don't get that on these 1-on-1s. You get that in practice, but AAU coaches are not coaches, right? They're not. And then the only time they really get actual tutelage is probably if they play for whatever school they're in, like maybe like junior high school, and then college. But that's it. I can guarantee you, if you ask somebody to run a Princeton or just certain verbiage, V cuts, this, that, and the third, they might be like, what's that or whatever. Like it just doesn't exist anymore.
Never heard of Princeton offense. Now,
it's just, and that as a player, I always consider myself as a purist on things that I've been involved in. As a player, you want to see these things. I can go to the park and see. I can see
run a gun, right? To run and shoot.
MH, man, you play in the basketball leagues here in Vegas, man. Everybody thinks they can shoot threes. Everybody thinks they can shoot threes, man.
Yeah.
Don't nobody want to go to the rack and set somebody else up, pass the ball and screen. I mean, I'm like you, DJ, man. I came up hooping. I'm a hooper as well, man. That's that. Certain things that you grow up playing and learning just as far as like the IQ of the game, pass, screen away, get somebody else a shot, whatever. You don't just come down and just jack up threes. It seems like that's nowadays kids, all they want to do is jack up threes, and especially if you can't shoot. You can't shoot. The NBA think they can shoot threes.
That's it, bro.
I feel what you're saying. I feel what y'all saying. I just think the same reason why we love Steph is the same reason why we love Juju. It's no difference.
No, yes, Juju can do that, but
it's no difference.
The game that she is playing is not the same game.
Yeah, but she's getting it one-on-one just like somebody else, Anthony Edwards, gets it one-on-one. It's no difference.
I agree with that, but how about this, though? The same reason we like Chelsea Gray is the same reason we like Magic Johnson.
Or Kyrie Irving.
Chelsea Gray filthy.
No, but they're not the same player.
Yeah, but see, we're not comparing the same thing. Now we're starting to talk about individuals, right? Like
we're talking about the game.
We're talking about the game. You know what I mean? Like Allen Iverson said, we ain't talking about practice, man. We're talking about the game. All right. So in the game, yes, you can point out individuals, MH, but the game in totality, the majority like the game in totality. Yes, you can pick out nuances that are people that still run plays or teams that do ISO ball in the W. Yes, you can do one-offs, but in totality, that's all people are saying is that like they enjoy the game for that.
I agree, but that feels no different than saying I liked when the Hoosiers was playing real basketball. I mean, that sounds the exact same to me. I'm just respectfully, that's how it comes off to me.
We're not asking for free throws. We're not.
That's just how it sounds to me. It don't sound no different.
And I think we said that. I think we beat the hell out of this topic. It was meant to talk about, the rise of the WNBA, and it slid off into some other things. It looks like there's some meat on this, so this may come back into another conversation or even a full live. Me and you maybe can jump on and kind of dive into this more in a locker room episode. But just in the interest of time, and like I said, I thank everybody that was listening online. I see a couple of people still here with us. We've had the numbers kind of jump up and down. Thank you, everybody that commented, that was involved. James, I see you definitely active, man. Appreciate you. But yeah, everybody that was in, shout out to Mama Hayes. We definitely love the Choose support. I'm trying to go to the quick. Jason Ross, Lexa Ross, everybody that was been on, everybody that was on today, at any part of your day. Thank you, Ebony, for jumping on. Shout out to Ebony's mom. Tell moms I said what's up. But yeah, anytime you guys spend time with us, man, it's really appreciated. We did have some other stuff to go through, but we'll go to the next slide and we'll see you next month, man. Before I jump off or close it down, man, did anybody have anything else they wanted to shout out or say real quick before we wrap it up?
I'm coming back to Vegas.
Let's go.
And I'm excited about that.
Let's go.
MH, you're gonna have to plug me because I'm back hooping, so I want to get in some of these leagues and I gotta get I'm working to get myself back in shape. Right now I'm old. Like I'm effective. I'm old. But I'm old.
Play the right way now.
I have no other option. I can't jump over people no more. I can't do none of that.
Awesome.
So, very efficient.
Ebony, any news you want to share? Hopefully we get you back to Vegas soon, but that's a whole other time.
Not yet.
We master plan. Anything else with you though?
Guys, it's nice to see you.
Good to see you. B, man, I don't know if it's out of step for me to kind of talk about, but my man's up in the ring, man, sparring. So share the light on that, man, and anything else you want to talk about, Mr. Three-time Emmy winner.
Three-time Emmy winner. Yeah. Well, I mean, just like with MH and CO, man, like I had to stop hooping, man. Like my knees and whatever. I just, too many of these young kids, man, I had to get them off my lawn. So I had to start boxing, man, and my body feels better than it did playing basketball, which is crazy. But like you said, man, I just had my second amateur fight, and it's not like tough, man. It's sanctioned USA Boxing. I had a commission. My coach is a Hall of Famer, a silver medalist in the Olympics, former WBC champ, and he got, man, it's just in my blood now. That's all I do is box, and I recently won my second bout, man. I got a
congratulations,
TKO in the third round, which was cool. we're not talking about the first 2 rounds because I probably look like trash in the first couple rounds, but I still got a TKO in the 3rd round, man. So I'm 2-0 as an amateur boxer.
Let's get it.
Yeah, man. Old man boxing, baby.
Congrats, man. Congrats. MH, man, anything else for the people before we get out of here?
No, man, I appreciate y'all. All good. We'll look forward to talking to y'all in September.
Awesome. So we'll see y'all in September with some other topics. Please share this show, with people that have been joined because it's live as soon as I hit this end button. So there's still people can comment. I'm pretty sure there's some topics that we missed, but I hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you for supporting.
EJ, real quick, man. Shout out to both of you guys, man, MH and you, man, for putting this together, having us on, man, and bringing folks together, man, because I appreciate what you guys do, man. I see your guys' posts. I see what you do. I appreciate the hustle, man, the grind, man, and what you guys doing is important, man. So huge shout out to both of you brothers, man.
Yes.
Appreciate that, man. And it's needed, man. And it's great to hear the certain things like, oh, I reached out to this person or I got to meet that person or, hey, Ebony, thanks for giving me tickets to this. So it's a community. So we thank you. Like I said, we truly thank you because you have where you can spend your time. So B, man, thanks for the love and the support. And like we always say, please stay safe, practice gratitude, and know we're rooting for you.
Screaming, all us blacks got is sports and entertainment until we even.
Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yeah. Yeah. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yo. Look. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Spent about 2 racks on handmade new rags. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. That's everybody from sports to college class to rap.